now, we'll have sort of an open mic period. In the sense that, you know, as we're sitting here discussing stories of what happened and when back in those days, I think two things come to mind. We have very serious thoughts sometimes, and then kind of some silly thoughts about a lot of silly stuff going on. Just to give a couple of examples, and then I'll ask anybody else to come up. On the serious side, I thought about when we were upstairs at Grand Liturgy, and thought about those years that we were here, when the faculty and all of the people that were involved in the liturgy just worked so hard to make it so meaningful and communicate to us the nuances of the sacred liturgy. And then it would all be topped off by the beautiful music that we would hear when Sam Ciccolini would play the organ, or the polyphonic choir. Jimmy Stringer would be singing, and so many other singers like Terry Burke and so many others. It was a wonderful experience.
Joe Divis.
And Joe Divis did so much.
And Clinton.
And yes, all of those guys. And then
Clinton had to go.
after I came downstairs and came in here and into what is now the faculty lounge, if you remember, that was the refectory that we ate in most of the time. And when Monsignor Wolf was the rector, who, by the way, was going to come and then had an accident earlier this week, and I guess his ankle is out of whack, and it made it more difficult on the travel. But if you remember that refectory, the faculty sat on a raised platform about 2 feet above everybody else in long tables, and they would be able to look down on us. And when Monsignor Wolf was rector, an artist was commissioned to paint the Last Supper, if you recall, as a fresco behind where the faculty sat. And we would watch that develop over maybe a 2-month period of time. And it finally was done, and it was beautiful. And the artist was then invited to the aula, the great aula magna, to give us a lecture, and we could have a Q&A session with him on his work. And I recall being at that, and Russ Banner, who was also, I guess, an amateur artist, and if you remember Russ, he kind of wore his heart on his sleeve about emotional and artistic things. And he got up and he said to this artist, who was, I think, from Germany, he said to this artist, "How do you know when you have created something that it is a fantastic and beautiful piece of art?" And the artist thought for a moment and said, "Well, I have always considered the most sincere form of flattery to be money." I think I've told that story 100 times. At this point, everyone is invited who has a comment, funny thought, recollection of something, to please come up and offer something. We'll start with Father McNulty. He's my claim. And before I sit down, I want to thank, obviously, Bishop Pilla, Father Mihak, Father Caddy, and Father Bentley for taking the time to be with us. It's really a joy to have you here. And while we're offering a round of applause, if you don't mind, how about one for Phil Lubin and that staff that put all of this. And here we go.
Now, do not be shy, any of you. Sometimes, if you prefer, we can bring the you know, the microphone right to you, Dave. Are you about ready? I figured you would.
You're on a very serious table.
Yeah, I just want to say that I think we all owe another bit of thanks to Jen and Rick Sherman for their wonderful hosting of the meeting here last night. All the time and work and how happy getting ready for this reunion.
Good stories?
I've got a lot of stories about you, Joe.
I'll get the mic last.
Every time Joe was called on by Father Tom Weber in scripture class, he came out with a line of junk that then Weber would always call on me and say, Mr. Beeson, what do you think about that? And I had to try to recuperate from what I'm doing right now, laughing.
I did very well because of it.
But anyhow, Joe's been a good guy all through the years too. All he needs to do is learn how to stop doing what he's doing because he needs to retire. For his own health.
Now, Bob, you're next. You didn't think with this table sitting right over there, this is like dangerous stuff.
You think this can be brief? Oh, I have a million memories. Before we get too far, though, one of them is, let me stand up. One of them, it's amazing how a group of people who are pretty much locked into one place for months at a time can find ways to get out and entertain themselves and go places that they wouldn't normally go. In 1969, which was our nation year, a group of us, a small group of us, traveled to down near Yellow, what is it, Yellow Springs? Yellow Springs. And it happened while we were there that there was a couple getting married while we were there. And this was a typical 60s wedding. A little off the wall, but a lot of fun, a hell of a lot of fun. And this couple got married, and now this year, I think if I'm not mistaken, Joe O'Connor and his wife, where is your wife? Oh, it still happens. Huh? But they're celebrating 50 years of marriage at this time. The other mention of Ron Roos earlier brought to mind an experience that we had multiple times. Ron was notorious. He was a great guy. And it happened that we were locked in as we were. We could only get out of here, the St. Mary's the same, on Tuesday, Thursday afternoons, and we had to sign out. Invariably, Ron would sign out to go down to the library downtown. Now, sometimes he went to the library bar, but other times, Ron never made it down there. It happened that Ron's parents owned a small hardware store somewhere between St. Mary's and downtown. And Ron would, pardon me?
We agree we have better questions than every concession.
Yeah.
I've heard.
He would regularly, Ron would regularly sign out, go down to his father's hardware store, and work 4 or 5 hours, come back and check back in at the seminary. Nobody had any idea this was going on except Ron and his friends who were in on this. There were all kinds of crazy things that went on. There were parties in people's hallways. I can remember one party that somebody had at St. Mary's. When Doc First got upset because he wasn't invited to the party. And it's about 10:30 at night, and there's all kinds of goings on. And then there comes a knock at the door, and it's Doc. And did he reprimand everybody? Oh, yeah, he did. He said, you didn't invite me. This is terrible, you didn't invite me. I'm going to report you boys. Closed the door and left. It was a way to entertain yourself. That's what we did. I have lots of memories. I won't bore you with more of them. Joe, who's next? Who else wants to say something?
Who's
Father Caddy.
No, Joe, you gotta say something. You keep.
Well, I'll tell you a couple of stories, and then you got any other stories. How many of you remember the great trip down to the lake? You remember that? When we were, I don't know, we may have even been, I don't know if we were deacons. We were in the
Last year.
And one day it seems that we had a rule, sort of an interpretation rule, that if you were exercising, you could do things like run off the ground. I don't know how that began, but including like running down to the lake. So the class decided, I believe they decided, that they would have a little picnic down in Gordon Park, right by the lake. Well, no, I don't think Jim was part of it at the time, I don't think he was. But the important thing was that you're one of them, Ned, and Joe Divis, and I and Neil O'Connor. We were caught as we were coming back towards the end. What happened was that we had rides down, people drove us down, and they drove us back. We got out of the car, we had a scripture test the next day too. It's just a fun type thing, but anyway. So we were dropped off, and I believe Father Weber found us. And so technically, we were coming back from the lake, so we were called into Monsignor Murphy's, remember? We had real strict instructions that Joe Divis was to say nothing. Because he would be honest, and I think they thought he'd be honest too. They were wrong, of course. So an explanation went on, they said, well, it's like Monsignor, we really need to exercise, and we have to get that out, so I went down to the lake, we're allowed to do that. He said, yeah, and he said I agree with you on that. He said, first of all, it was pretty late coming back. He said, well, it did get too late, but it takes a long time to run down there and run back. And he said, but I'm looking at some of you, and I know you would never run anywhere. Never mind. Yeah, you're right about those guys. So I do remember that one. That was a unique thing. That was kind of scary type of thing. But it worked out pretty well. All the other people came to be driven back as normal. The next day, I do remember Father Weber said to me, I hope you had time to study for the exam. So, any other, gotta get a few other people up here for others. Oh, Jim, then we'll come back. I think the court will get a little bit off on the way. You can wait.
Can you walk that?
Can you make it there?
You just reminded me.
Remind you of something, I think. Yeah.
Joyous, who disagreed with Father Weber about teaching scripture and what he taught. And so he would never study anything in the notes. He did his own research, and he failed over and over. Question. That was Joe. He said, but he's wrong. He's wrong. That was a story. A hard story for me, I remember, was I was waiting on this table here, I think, cleaning up afterwards, and Joe Saraglio, who was a sort of cynical guy, and he was in a mood, and he started writing me. I don't even know why, I don't know where, and then he wouldn't let go, and I said, Joe, come on, just leave it alone. And I sadly say, I threw him across the room. That's a terrible thing. I just broke out in tears, and I just felt so horrible. But he was such a cynical, sarcastic guy. Oh my God, he was still a big guy. So anyhow, that's the only stuff I can think of. Come on, Sam, you gotta walk up there. Let's forward where you guys look
When I was coming up this afternoon, I was really thinking, you know, am I going to recognize all these people? What has happened in the course of all these 50 years, you know? Well, I have one little anecdote. His brother, dear friend, classmate, and all this. And I think it was Gene Gonzalski. And he was going to be married. And we were in good theology, I think. Or so. Anyway, Gene came up to me and he said, Sam, I'm going to get married. And I'd like you to play the wedding and put together a choir. It's going to be at St. Stanislaus. It's fine. Then he told him it's going to be in Polish. And I said, all right, they didn't do it. So I learned the mass and learned pronunciation and put together this little choir. And we go to this wedding. Wedding went fine. After the wedding, we had a reception in the basement of the church. 8 seminarians, black student guy, sitting at a table. And these wonderful old ladies, always got eating food, bringing out food, and they're all sitting home. And one lady comes up and she says, are all of you going to be fathers? And leave them wrong. One way or the other.
That's something more to share. Anything more to share?
Oh, gee.
That's all right,
Well, I came to the seminary after 2 years at John Carroll. Graduated Rocky River High in 1960 and came in 1962, September. And I was a kind of a pious guy before I got there. You didn't believe that on the other one. But, so anyhow, I come in and well, a number of things happened there. But one of them was, and I don't know how you got this, because you're not going to believe this, but I used to be scared to death to get out in front of the public, you know, and talk. I always dropped out of the seminary because I can't do this, you know, all the time. Of course, as you see now, you can't shut it down. But anyhow, you know, I'm walking down the corridor one day, and I get approached by Rich Sherman and his cousin Roy Urich. And they tell me, they said, you know, we've got this new man show. All the new guys coming in, you have to put on a show, you know, for all the Daphne and everybody like this. I said, oh, that's interesting. He says, yeah, we want you to be the star of the show. What? I said, no, I can't do this. And no, you can do it. And, you know, I was okay, actually, honestly, you know, small group and talking. But honestly, in public, I just had a hard time. So they did it on the theme of a combination between, remember Jack Parr? You know, it was before Johnny Carson, and Steve Allen, the other show. And they called it the Jack Allen Show. And guess who was Jack Allen? Me. Huh. Okay. So they had something, you know, Roy and Rick, you know, worked up some good lines and everything like this, and we had practices. And Father Jack Leahy was the moderator for this whole thing. And so I would get up, and I, you know, we're supposed to practice our lines and everything, and I get up and I go, get up, and Leahy would be going, my God, where did we get this guy? What am I going to do? This show is going to die. so, anyhow, Harry Cicada, remember him? He had his own band and everything, he was quite a guy, and they had this theme for the Tonight Show, I guess. It was The Stripper, remember that song? They used to play that and everything. And so, finally it comes to the night of the thing, and we were all in trepidation, me especially. And so the lights are down, and all of a sudden, the lights go on, and Harry Cicada starts playing this Empress thing and everything. And Tom Gannon, if you remember him, he played Charlie Weaver, in this thing, and he was my sidekick down there. So anyhow, I'm supposed to do a monologue to start out, and I come out of it, as soon as the music started and everything, it was like a miracle. The hand that they came out, it was like, I'm Jack Allen, here I am, and I got out, and it turned out okay. And poor Father Lady was in the audience like this, just slumped over. He thought it was going to be all over. But anyhow, thanks Rick for forcing me into that and everything, but it turned out okay in the long run. And you and Roy had some great lines in it. It was great.
Steve, can I add? I just, utterly, you guys remember when they taught, all the faculty thought they had to teach in Latin. And Lady was teaching English. He didn't teach English or history. He taught history. Yeah, right. From me, it was always, but he thought they were, so he would talk in Latin in class. And he didn't know any, I mean, he just, I forgot it all, of course. But it was like 4 days, and then it was announced, I don't know, don't you guys remember? And he was the only teacher who did, and then they said, well, you don't have to do that. But it's just a lady memory.
Who's next?
I got it.
Hey,
Sorry about that.
Somebody shy.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine you coming up and speaking about it.
Father said he's got the last mic, but that's unfortunate for me. I got it now. And I got to tell you about a story involving a man over here. I visited his place over in the north. It's been there 100 years now. So I visited there. After I went to my college a few weeks later, Colin said, Claire, you know you have to justify all the money that's on your payroll to get out this year. What's this $100? I go, I can't tell you about that. So here's what happened. I'm visiting, I got $50 in this pocket, $50 in this pocket, and I don't know where the heck I got it, to tell you the truth. I just happened to have it. So I said to Father, I want you to take this $100. And I don't care what you do. Obviously you got plenty of people. So as we're talking, up drives this 10-year-old car with a young couple in it, and about 6 kids like are hanging out the window. So Father goes, flirting, I know exactly what we're going to do this time. Takes it and just gives it, throws it in the window to the parents, and away they go. Back to the accountant. What are we going to do with this $100? I go, just cross it off. There's no way to track that sucker down. Father did. No problem whatsoever. Thank you for doing that, by the way. Don't worry, I got this, I think his name was Greg Cicada. What was that name? You were dying close, dying close. So, I was in my second year, my father comes up to me and goes, I'm going to get you, before you go back to the center, I'm going to get you a convertible. A beautiful 62 or 63 Chevy convertible. I go, Dad, what am I going to do with it? Just drive around East Cleveland. So he goes, I don't care what you do. Get your convertible for the weekend, do what you want with it. Just go get some broad if you want. I don't care. Well, Pop, I don't think we're allowed to go on dates, seminary, but, well, there's one that's at the playground I'm working at, Borremeo playground. Maybe I'll ask her to go on a picnic. So, unfortunately, the girl, and I was working the girl, as I said, the girl on the street next to the road, she come down after work every day, say hi to her and stuff. That's not, just say hi, of course. And unfortunately, Grace and Katie lived on the same street. So the word got out through, I don't know why, I didn't know like that. The word got out that, I was taking this young lady on a picnic in my nice new borrowed rented ship. So I get a call the next day. Guess what it was? It wasn't the bishop. Thank you, bishop, for not calling. It was great. Larry, guess what? You know that date you got going with Miss X over here? It's off. We don't go on dates. If you're in seminary and it's the summertime, got it? Yes, right. That was it for Greg.
That was it for you?
I wrote it on.
Someone else? Will you over this state of the quiet table? You'll be ready to do something? Bill McGrath and I came the exact same day to the seminary way back in 1957.
I don't think he heard from the human world. Because in a way, the seminary, for me, we took a lot of courses, Latin, Greek, history, English, whatever. And, if I think about it, it was all kind of meaningless in terms of, other than history and stuff like that, it's kind of interesting to know, but in terms of who I became. But the seminary experience was really fundamental in a way that, and I'm sure this for everybody, it really is very difficult to describe. But I do think that whatever success I had was probably attributable to the formation in the seminary. And whatever obstacles I needed to overcome, I think is attributable to the seminary formation. So the formation process for me is something for which I am incredibly grateful. And I say thank you to all of you who are my classmates, and I say thank you to the institution, and I say thank you to the faculty. As Joe alluded, and he and I have talked about this, are very, this along with Ned's thing of the Barnabases in our mind. The first night in the seminary, Joe and I are like 2 beds away from each other, and we're showing up there, and we're both kind of scared out of our minds, and we're putting our stuff away, and it's night, and it's time to go out, and Joe and I went out for a walk. And, the fact that here it is, 60 years later, that I can remember that evening going for a walk with Joe, says something. The fact that, really, I was scared and he was scared. And, we really kind of supported ourselves, or supported each other, I guess, in that part of that formation. And that's really what it was about. I mean, I created a lot of mischief, when I was in seminary. You all did this, we all did mischievous things. But that was maybe, I don't know if that was part of the formation, but it was kind of irrelevant. I mean, it was really just what we learned. We learned how to pray, we learned how to meditate, we learned the meaning of integrity. And that's so important. And, I'm trying to inculcate that to my kids, and it's very hard to just do that without, kind of that total immersion experience that we had. And then just by way of a parenthetical, in terms of gratitude, the first 2 dates that I had when I was free of the seminary, restriction